Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we'll be checking out the long-anticipated return of my perfect IV unobtainable legacy quick attack Starmie in the Master League Premier Cup. Starmie is a water and psychic type Pokemon with the moveset of quick attack, ice beam, and thunder. Starmie is not a Pokemon I would recommend using in the Master League as it can struggle quite a bit, but with Ice Beam and Thunder, it has some crazy one-shot potential against Dragonites and Gyarados. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Unobtainable Legacy Starmie in action in the Master League. Nightmare lead in the first match, Dragonite into Florges, immediate save switch into Starmie, and I'm hoping they switch out. But my opponent is staying in, and they're gonna fire off a move. I'm gonna let it through. It's a Moonblast that does massive damage, but then they bring in Gyarados. Do they respect the damage? They do not, and Gyarados goes down. Starmie taking back switch advantage. In the back, they have Excadrill, and now I have the alignment that I want. I have Dragonite aligned against their Exca, so that way, my Exca is going to be paired against their Florges. They fire off the Rock Slide. My goal is to try and CMP on the Superpower, and it looks like I was able to do just that. Because so long as my Exca has a shield advantage, I am going to be able to win this game. So at this point, I just let my Dragonite go. My Dragonite has done its job, and now my Exca is going to be able to close out this game. I'm going to fire off the Drill Run. If they want to keep their Exca alive, they're going to have to give me their final shield, and that's exactly what they do. I continue to farm up. They're going to fire off a move just before I'm able to reach my next Drill Run. I am going to be committing the shield. Firing off the Drill Run, that's going to be taking out my opponent, and I am just too healthy. Any one move is not going to KO from Florges. In comes Florges. Florges is just in a lot of trouble here. I'm going to fire off the Drill Run. Drill Run gets them low. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. Hopping into the next match, and the bad leads continue, Dragonite into Primarina. I'm going to check the fast move. It is Charm, and I save switch into Starmie, hoping they switch out. They farm up, bank some energy, and then bring in Gyarados. Starmie going for the Thunder. Thunder one-shots the Gyarados, and just like that, Gyarados is out of here. Opponent is going to bring in Haxorus. Oh my goodness. They overfarm, and they allow me to reach the Ice Beam. Please let this through. Ice Beam does get shielded by Haxorus. We should still be in a pretty nice spot here, but man, I would have loved to see that Ice Beam land. Haxorus has a ton of energy. They fire off the Dragon Claw. I'm going to let that go. They are at another Dragon Claw, so I am going to be committing the shield here. They actually go for the Night Slash. They bring in Primarina, and I'm going to respond with my Exca. I'm going to fire off the Drill Run. This is not quite going to KO, but it is going to get the Prima very low. Drill Run gets them low. Prima continues to farm up. Prima only has access to nuke moves, so I am going to be committing the shield here. And I'm very happy I did, because they go for the Hydro Pump. I have so much energy on my Exca. Back in comes Haxorus. I'm going to fire off the Drill Run. They have to farm down to win. They just let it through, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading into yet another Charmer. Same game plan as last time, save switch into Starmie, and hope that they switch out. I'm just going to continue to farm up, and like clockwork, in comes the Waterfall Gyarados. I farm up, going for the Thunder. Thunder able to land, and one-shots. They're going to bring back in Togekiss. Because I overfarmed, I'm going to be able to reach a second Thunder, and I should be able to force a shield or nearly KO the Togekiss. I'm going to bring in Exca and go for an incredibly aggressive Mud Shot farm down. They fire off the Flamethrower. That's fine by me. I'm going to go for a full Mud Shot farm down, and I leave with 100 energy loaded. In the back, they have Machamp, but I have so much energy that this Machamp is going to be no problem. I fire off the Drill Run, able to grab the shield. Firing off a second Drill Run. They commit the second shield. I can bring in Dragonite, and I should be in command of this match. I'm going to commit the shield. Even if I do shield a bait here, it really doesn't matter. They do go straight for the Rock Slide. I'm able to farm up a little bit, fire off the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw will take out the Shadow Machamp, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Dragonite into yet another Togekiss. Same game plan as before, immediate save switch into Starmie, and this time, they respond with a Garchomp. This is exactly why we have Ice Beam. Starmie, charging up, lands the Ice Beam, and it nearly one-shots the Garchomp. I'm going to shield once, quick attack down, and take switch advantage back from my opponent. and if they bring back in the Togekiss, I will be able to reach at least one super effective Thunder, which is basically going to KO unless they decide to give me that shield. I'm going to farm up, not going to be able to get two moves, but I'm at the very least going to be able to fire off one Thunder, and I'm able to get the shield back. They do have quite a bit of energy on the Togekiss. I'm going to bring in Exca. This is enough for a Flamethrower. I am going to commit my final shield here. I'm a little worried they could have their own Exca in the back, so I need a pretty big energy lead. I'm going to farm all the way up to 100 energy and then fire off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide is going to be getting them very low. They let it through. In the back, they do have their own Excadrill. I'm going to farm up to the back-to-back drill runs, fire off one to grab the shield, and then I'm going to bring in Dragonite to force them to throw some energy. They're going to need to fire off two Rock Slides to KO here. They fire off the first, and they're going to need to fire off the second pretty quickly, because if they do not, I'm going to be able to superpower them. They do go for the Rock Slide. I'm going to bring back in my Exca, farm up 3 Mud Shots, and then fire off the Drill Run. This is going to be taking out their Exca, and I should be able to live the one charm needed to get to the Rock Slide. Rock Slide will easily take out the Togekiss, and despite another terrible lead, we are able to get the win. Hopping to the next match, leading Dragonite into Metagross. Still not the best lead, but at the very least, Dragonite does have some play here thanks to Superpower. I'm going to stay in this lead to start, tank a Meteor Mash, fire back with a Superpower, and then I'm going to be save switching into Starmie. They fire off the Meteor Mash, that gets me low, but a Superpower is going to be getting them low. So I'm going to fire back with a Superpower. Superpower gets the shield. In comes Starmie. Even if they go for a Meteor Mash here, I am going to shield it, because even a resisted Meteor Mash deals a ton of damage. I commit the shield. Opponent responds with a Gyarados, and it is Thunder time once again. Starmie charging up, one-shotting the Gyarados. In the back, they had a Shadow Snorlax, so they had a legitimately incredible counter to Starmie, still switched in the Gyarados, and got one shot. I am not out of the woods yet though, because Shadow Snorlax has a ton of energy, and with energy, it is incredibly dangerous. I'm going to be bringing in the Exca and farming up. I switch, and I'm able to catch onto the Dragonite. That's big. Unfortunately, it was just a Body Slam bait, but I'm going to have to try and pull off a miracle here with Excadrill. I shield, it is the superpower, in comes Metagross. I'm going to farm up as much as I possibly can. I farm up to the back-to-back moves. I fire off the Drill Run. Drill Run is able to KO. I'm farming up, needing to get to the back-to-back, but I'm just not able to get there. Snorlax reaches the superpower. That takes out my Exca, and we lose a heartbreaking game. Hopping into the next match, picking up a terrible lead, Dragonite into Mamoswine, so I immediately save switch into Starmie. I'm hoping they switch out, but they stay in and go for a resisted Avalanche. I'm going to let this through. That does quite a lot of damage though, and then right on cue, they bring in the Gyarados. Starmie, Thunder, goodbye Mr. Gyarados, and we've taken switch advantage. But this is still not a fabulous spot to be in, because Mamoswine is going for the farm down, and Mamoswine with energy is incredibly deadly. Ice Beam does get the shield, in comes Excadrill, but they just have so much loaded energy on this Mamoswine that honestly, I'm in trouble here. They are already at the back-to-back avalanches. I'm going to be committing a shield and then trying to fire off the Drill Run. I'm really needing this to land. Drill Run actually lands in the back. They have their own Excadrill. I'm going to fire off the Drill Run. They're going to shield. I'm going to need to catch to win this game. I'm going to overfarm and then switch one before I get to the move, and I'm able to make the catch onto Dragonite. And with that, this game should be over, because even after taking a Drill Run, I still comfortably tank a Rock Slide. They fire off the Rock Slide. That is not enough to KO. I'm able to get to the Superpower. Superpower will take out the Excadrill. I'm able to farm down the Mamoswine and get the win. Hopping into the next match, leading Dragonite into Shadow Magnezone. Thanks to Superpower, this is a much better matchup for Dragonite than it has been in previous seasons. They're going to farm up a ton of energy, and so will I. I'm going to farm up and fire off a Dragon Claw bait, hoping to try and grab a shield. Dragon Claw does get a shield, and they're going to fire off a move. I'm going to let this through. Magnezone goes for the Wild Charge, and that deals massive damage. I go for the Dragon Claw, but they make a switch into Gyarados. That is a little unfortunate, as now my Dragonite has been taken out. I'm going to bring in Starmie, but since I'm choosing to bring Starmie into Gyarados, it is kind of obvious that I have a decent matchup here. I commit the shield. It's only an Aqua Tail. I'm going to farm up and fire off the Thunder. Thunder, we've seen it before, will easily KO the Gyarados, and they decide to let that through. Are they going to be bringing back in the Magnezone? If they do, I'm going to immediately switch into my Exca, and they are switch locked in here. They keep farming up. Their timer finally comes up, but now their Dragonite is at a massive energy disadvantage. I fire off the Rock Slide, immediate shield from my opponent. I'm going to be firing off another Rock Slide. This is going to be getting the Dragonite below half health. Dragonite continuing to farm. They're going to fire off a move. I'm going to shield this because I do not fear any charge move from the Magnezone. So I do commit the shield. It's the superpower. And I'm going to be firing off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide takes out the Dragonite. Back in comes the Magnezone. Magnezone goes for the Mirror Shot. I switch into Starmie to catch the second Mirror Shot. Starmie absorbs the damage. Quick attacks down the Magnezone. And that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, picking up a great lead Dragonite into Garchomp. My opponent is staying in this lead, and they're running Dragon Tail. With Dragon Tail, this is still an incredibly favorable matchup for Dragonite. I fire off the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw, nearly enough to KO, and they're going to fire off the last second Sand Tomb. No need to shield the Sand Tomb. That's going to do basically no damage, and I'm able to farm down. They're going to bring in Shadow Snorlax. I'm going to farm up, looking to go for a superpower. They go for a catch onto Gyarados. I bank the energy, and I'm going to be bringing in Starmie. Starmie, now that I brought it into Gyarados, it's a bit of a giveaway that I have a move that can probably hit it for super effective. So I'm going to do what I never do in this situation, and I'm going to bait. I bait the Ice Beam. I continue to farm up. I believe this is only an Aqua Tail, so I am going to let this through. It is just the Aqua Tail, and I'm going straight for the Thunder. Do they respect the Thunder? They do not, and down goes Gyarados. In comes Shadow Snorlax. Shadow Snorlax does have a ton of energy, which is very scary. I'm going to fire off the Drill Run. They let me get here, which is fantastic. Drill Run is going to get them quite low. I'm going to farm up. I tried to go for the catch, but I slightly mistime it. I'm going to call the bait. It's the superpower, and I am incredibly low on Dragonite. Can I withstand the debuffed licks to get to the 2 Dragon Claws? I'm able to fire off the first. This is going to get the shield. Can I withstand the lick damage? Dragonite able to get there. We survive on 1 HP, taking out the Shadow Snorlax, and that is a good game. Hopping into the final match, leading Dragonite into Togekiss, one final Charmer. As always, immediate save switch into Starmie. My opponent is staying in with the Togekiss, which is not great, but then at the last second, they bring in Gyarados. Hello, Gyarados. Goodbye, Gyarados. Gets absolutely one shot. Togekiss is going to be able to charm down before I reach a second move. I'm going to bring in Excadrill. They're going to be able to reach the Flamethrower before I'm able to reach my Rock Slide. I will commit the shield. They actually bait with an Ancient Power, which is unfortunate, and I'm going to return fire with the Rock Slide. Rock Slide is going to be getting them quite low, but it's not quite enough to KO. Excadrill going for the farm down. This should only be an Ancient Power, so I am going to let that go. Ancient Power not going to do a lot, and they have a Machamp in the back. I'm going to fire off the Drill Run. Drill Run gets a shield, and then I'm going to bring in Dragonite. This is the non-Shadow Machamp, meaning that even if a Rock Slide lands, it's not going to be enough to take me out. I fire off the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw gets the shield. They're going to fire off a move. I'm going to let this through. It's the Cross Chop bait, and if the game wasn't over, it's over now. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. All in all, I had an absolute blast getting to run Unobtainable Legacy Quick Attack Starmie in the Master League Premier Cup yet again. The extra energy generation from Quick Attack is no joke, helping Starmie get to more charge moves, which is what it desperately needs, because Starmie is extremely frail, meaning that if it's not able to reach a lot of charge moves, it is really going to struggle. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.